So here we are out on the Harley-Davidson Fatboy 2004. The interesting thing here is the bike had only covered 3,000 miles when I got it, and I've put about 2,000 or 3,000 miles on it. We just put some new bars on it, and I was riding along and I could hear this strange rumbling noise coming from the bottom of the engine, but it wasn't all the time. I'll talk about it a bit further on, but it didn't sound right. It sounded like I dropped a crank bearing or something had gone wrong at the bottom end. And it was only doing it when I came off the throttle, when I leaned into a corner. Probably not going to hear it at this moment. I will stop talking when it does happen, and there'll be a clear chance to hear it in a minute. But I was getting quite worried. I was thinking, is the bike going to throw me off? Is something bad happening? But the performance was fine, and I know because I checked, we checked the bars and we checked all kinds of other bits, that it wasn't anything that was going to hurt me immediately. So we carried on for a little bit, and if I stop talking about now, you'll start to hear the sound.
Can you kill it? I keep hearing something weird. Can you hear it? It's my bike. It's... She's dead.
That's not a good noise.
No. I thought I could hear something. I wasn't going mad.
So I'll spare you the rest of this
it's not, is it?
the sequence of what happens next, but we go through all kinds of things. We look at the oil level,
the oil light
which
should
is
come on, right?
a tiny bit low, but not serious. It's still in the right area of the dipstick. Eventually we decide to ride back to my house. Luckily, by pure fluke, we're just a couple of miles from my house. So I get on the back of James's bike and we go back to get some more oil, just in case it is that.
So does it run
Then
out of oil when it's
ride
not,
back with some tools, and I gingerly ride it home, just to get it home, hoping that it's going to be okay.
The oil light's not come on.
How exciting, my first ever Harley-Davidson breakdown. Well, actually, it wasn't a breakdown, to be fair. The bike got me home. I went for a spirited ride with my friend James, and we did some good miles and we did some good speed. But I noticed every time I slowed down, it made a rattling noise. I couldn't tell quite where the noise was coming from. Interestingly, I just put these new bars on because my shoulders and neck, I have shoulders and neck problems, and these bars, we were testing out these new bars we fitted. And I heard this rattling noise coming from somewhere around here, and I assumed it was something to do with the new bars. But eventually James pulled over and said, look mate, there's something not right. But it only rattled when I came off the throttle, or if I leaned into a corner. Not that you can lean very far into a corner with a Fatboy with a 25-degree lean angle, but anyway, it was only sporadic. It wasn't like a ticking, which is apparently to do with the valves or in here, and it wasn't a big end knock. it was an occasional rattle. Now, I've done a bit of YouTubing, and it would appear that there is a nut under here which holds on the compensator, and the chain runs in here and the chain joins to the belt there. So this is in like an oil bath here. I've drained the oil out. So what I'm told reliably by YouTube is that if I take this cover off, which I've done, put my finger in there and there's a cog, and if I can move the cog backwards and forwards with my finger, then there's a nut here that's loose. Now, I can move it quite a lot, so this nut is very clearly loose. Something else I found was there's a magnetic plug here, and there's a few shavings on there, which I wouldn't necessarily expect to find. All the oils have been done on this, and it's fairly clean normally. So it makes me wonder if the nut is starting to eat into this case. So what I'll do is I'll take all these off and have a look and work out if I can do it. But that is my first Harley breakdown. Well, not breakdown, but my first issue to fix. It's kind of stupid that this comes loose anyway. I think I'll put thread lock on it when I put it back. I'll use like a medium compound. I don't want to thread lock it with the world's tightest stuff because nobody wants that. But I think a medium would be the best solution. It's got to be to 150, I think, pounds-feet, or 120. I will confirm that. But I need some sort of locking tool. I don't know if I'm going to have to make one, or if... I mean, it's 10 days turnaround to buy one in the UK. So I'll take the cover off and we'll see what happens. So here we have it. Taken the cover off, and you can see where the bolts went. There's a locating dowel there. And I've left the bolts because they're all different sizes, typical Harley, right? So you've got to make sure you put them all back in the right place. Whether I use the gasket again, I don't know. I know I shouldn't, but you know what it's like. Anyway, this nut, if this is tight, then I've got a serious problem somewhere, and it's not this. If this nut is loose, then, I should say there was no damage to the inside of this. So there, normally when the nut comes out, you damage this, and mine was undamaged. So we have to check, is this loose? I really hope it is. Look at that butter. Bearing in mind, this is supposed to be like 120 or 150 psi or some pounds per inch, foot pounds, whatever. Look, that's just so loose, it's almost going to fall off. Yeah, okay, fine. I will take that out, put some thread lock on it. I'm going to have to make a key or do something to work out how to tighten it up. But yeah, job's a good one. So that's job done. The bolt is now back on the tensioner thing. That's on, and I tightened it up to 150 pounds-feet. Wasn't too bad. I could just use a 1/2-inch bar torque wrench and easily do it on my own, and the bike didn't fall over or anything, so that was simple enough to do. Nidge very kindly loaned me the steps so I could wedge them in and do it, and he also loaned me socket, which I'll obviously need to give back to him tonight. Very grateful for that. Oh, he also sold me oil filter plugs so I can service the bike, primary oil. I've got everything I need in there to finish it off, so hopefully that's the first issue fixed. After getting a bit of advice, this gasket's cleaned up perfectly. We're going to use it again. Maybe I shouldn't, and I'm sure people are going to tell me that's wrong, but for what, 27 quid from Harley, I think I'll try it again. It's easy enough to drop the primary oil again if I have to. But yeah, I've just checked the belt here, and it's supposed to be between 15mm and 22mm, and it's easily within 15 and 22mm. If I measure from the top and then move it up, that's less than 22mm and more than 15. So that's well within spec, unless I'm reading it wrong. So yeah, that's all good.